Once upon a time, beyond the golden hills of the savannah, there was a village named Kansingo. Kansingo was more than just a village. It was a place where the soil was rich, the trees whispered ancient secrets, and the people believed in magic. They weren't just farmers and gold miners. They were keepers of stories, guardians of traditions passed down through generations. One of the oldest and most powerful traditions was the maidens' kiss, a sacred ritual that could change everything. The village elders believed that when a young maiden shared her first kiss, it could unlock great fortune or bring great sorrow. Some whispered kisses that had awakened a love so deep that it shone like stars, while others told of stories that led to despair, turning lives to dust. One warm evening, the villagers gathered around a dancing flame. In the glow of the flames, Ngozi, the village storyteller, began to speak. Her voice, rough and steady, like the earth beneath their feet, captured the attention of the young girls seated before her. "Gather round, my children," Ngozi said softly. "For tonight, I will tell you a story about two maidens, Elara, humble and kind, and Amira, proud and beautiful. Their lives, though different, were bound by a kiss that could decide the fate of Kansingo. Elara, born into the poorest family, wore her simplicity like a badge of honor. She had nothing but her heart, kind and unbreakable. Amira, on the other hand, had wealth, beauty, and the attention of everyone in the village. But sometimes, riches and beauty are not enough to win what matters most." The feast of the Maiden's Kiss was nearby. The village buzzed with excitement as it was time for the elders to choose which maidens would take part in the sacred ritual. Everyone believed that Amira would be chosen. How could she not? But when Elara's name was called alongside Amira's, the entire village fell silent. "Two paths have been set in motion." Ngozi's voice trembled with anticipation. "But only one maiden can claim the kiss that will save Kansingo from the curse of misfortune." Elara stood by herself, away from the others. Amira sat with her friends, dressed in their bright, expensive clothes. When Elara was picked along with Amira, everyone was shocked. The villagers couldn't believe it. "Elara, the poor girl," people whispered, staring openly at her. "Why would the elders choose her?" Some asked quickly. They wondered how someone as kind and humble as Elara could stand next to someone like Amira, who was beautiful but often full of herself. Despite the surprise, excitement slowly grew. Some began to hope that Elara's gentle heart and Amira's charm would bring good things to the feast of the Maiden's Kiss. Maybe this strange pairing will bring luck to the village. Elara's family and friends were happy for her. They rushed to her side, offering hugs and kind words. They believed her warm spirit would shine, no matter what she wore. Amira's friends, however, weren't as sure. They had always thought beauty and wealth were what mattered most. But even they couldn't ignore the wisdom of the elders. Maybe, just maybe, this choice would work out. The square buzzed with all kinds of feelings: shock, excitement, and curiosity. Everyone was eager for the feast, wondering what this unlikely pairing of Elara and Amira would bring to the village. Elara's family lived in a small warm cottage at the edge of the village. Her father, Ayene, worked hard to grow food on their little plot of land, while her mother, Chioma, took care of the garden and animals. Despite all their efforts, they never had much money. Elara, their beautiful daughter with dark skin and bright eyes, was always helping her parents. She fetched water, gathered firewood, and worked alongside them in the fields. Clothes were simple, often patched up, but she didn't mind. She had a kind heart and was always ready to support her family. Amira's family, on the other hand, was the richest in Kansingo. Her father, Ikem, owned huge herds of cattle that fed on the lush pastures, and he managed the most valuable gold mines in the area. Their mansion stood tall in the middle of the village, with colorful gardens full of flowers and tall iron gates that shone bright in the sunlight. Amira, known for her stunning beauty, always wore fine dresses made of silk and sparkling jewelry that caught everyone's eyes. She was the queen bee among her friends, and they copied everything she did: how she dressed, how she talked, and even how she acted. But while Amira was beautiful on the outside, her heart didn't match. She looked down on people who had less than she did and enjoyed seeing them struggle. She often made fun of their simple clothes and small homes, making them feel unimportant. Elara, with her plain outfits and quiet nature, was one of Amira's favorite targets. Amira would leave her out of gatherings, laugh at her behind her back, and spread nasty rumors about her. Elara tried her best to ignore it, but it wasn't so easy, especially when many of the villagers admired Amira's beauty and charm. One sunny day, Elara went to the stream to wash clothes. She carried a big basket heavy with dirty laundry and knelt by the water. She dipped the clothes in, scrubbing them against the rocks while feeling the cold water run over her hands. Elara loved the quiet time. The clear stream sparkled in the sun, and the soft rush of water was soothing. Here, under the warm sun, she could forget about her worries for a while. But just as Elara was lost in thought, a burst of laughter broke the silence. Startled, she looked up to see Amira and her friends approaching. Their voices were loud, their fancy dresses catching the sunlight as they walked toward her. Elara's heart sank. She knew that look on Amira's face. Well, if it isn't little Elara, Amira called out, her voice full of mockery, always working. Don't you ever get tired of being poor? Her friends giggled, and Elara's face burned with embarrassment. She kept her eyes on the clothes, pretending not to hear, but she could feel the stink of their waste. Why don't you say something? Amira said, stepping closer. Oh, is washing clothes all you know how to do? Elara swallowed hard, her hands shaking a little as she kept scrubbing. She wanted to say something back, to stand up by herself, but the words stuck in her throat. She glanced at her basket, hoping they would leave her alone. But Amira wasn't done. She came closer, her voice soft but sharp, too poor to even speak. Elara's heart pounded, but she kept her head down. I'm just doing my work, she said quietly, trying to keep her voice steady. Oh, let's help her, Amira said, her tone fake nice. Her friends followed, laughing and smiling as they moved toward the basket. Before Elara could stop them, they grabbed the clean clothes from the basket and tossed them into the stream. Panic rose in Elara's chest as she rushed forward, trying to catch them. "Stop, please." But it was too late. The clothes were already floating away. Caught in the current, Elara's hands splashed through the water, trying to grab the fabric, but Amira gave her a sharp push. It wasn't hard enough to hurt, but it was enough to make her lose her balance and fall into the stream. The cold water soaked through her clothes, and Elara gasped in shock. The girls laughed their voices, cutting through the air like knives. "You belong in the water, Elara," one of them sneered, like a little fish, all weak and helpless. As Elara sat in the stream, her body was shivering from the cold, her heart heavy with shame. She watched the clothes drift away, fighting back with tears. She wanted to shout at them, to scream, but instead she stayed quiet, praying they would just go away. Elara stood up, water dripping from her clothes and hair. Her face felt hot with embarrassment, and her hands shook as she gathered the clothes from the stream. She wanted to yell, to fight back, but she knew it would only make things worse. So she kept quiet, even though her heart hurt and her eyes were filled with the tears that mixed with the cold stream. Amira watched with a mean smile. "You should thank us, Elara," she said, her voice full of mockery. "We made your day a little more exciting." With that, she turned and walked away, her friends laughing loudly as they followed her. Their laughter hung in the air long after they were gone, leaving Elara standing in the stream, feeling small and broken. She stared down at her reflection in the water, her spirit bruised but still fighting, as she slowly gathered the rest of the clothes and headed back to the shore. She made a quiet promise to herself that no matter what Amira did, she would not give up. She would find a way to change her life. The walk home felt long and heavy. Every step reminded her of Amira's cruel words and the way she had been treated. The wet clothes in her basket seemed to grow heavier with each step. By the time she reached her small cottage, her heart felt as heavy as a basket. Without saying a word to anyone, Elara went straight to the backyard. There, her favorite baobab tree stood tall, its thick branches swaying gently in the breeze. The sight of it brought her a little comfort. She sat down beneath the tree, pulling her knees close to her chest, and finally let her tears fall. Silent sobs shook her as she buried her face in her arms. She felt so sad, so hurt. It seemed like no matter how hard she tried, nothing could stop Amira and her friends from making her feel small. The baobab's shade and the soft rustle of its leaves gave her some comfort, but the sadness in her heart felt like too much to bear. She cried for a long time, feeling the ache deep inside and wondering why Amira and her friends were so cruel. After a while, she heard a familiar sound of footsteps. Her father, Ayene, approached quietly, his presence comforting even before he spoke. He sat down beside her, the weight of his past experience in his movements. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, his touch warm and reassuring. "Elara," he said softly, "what troubles you, my daughter?" Elara lifted her head, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "Papa," she whispered, her voice trembling, "why do they hate me so much? Why do they treat me so badly? I agree I come from a poor family, but do I beg to eat? Can't I have peace like other maidens? Must they remind me about my situation every moment? Ayini sighed, his heart aching for his daughter. He had seen the cruelty of the world, and it pained him to see it directed to her daughter. People can be unkind, especially when they do not understand the strength it takes to live a humble life. Elara sniffled, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. But it is not fair. I try so hard, but they just make me feel so bad and useless. Ayeni turned her face towards him, his eyes filled with love and pride. You are not useless, Elara. You are stronger than you know. Your heart is pure, and your spirit is resilient. Those who mock you do so because they do not see the beauty in kindness and hard work. Elara looked into her father's eyes, finding a glimmer of hope. But what can I do, father? How can I change this? Ayini smiled gently. Just be yourself. Hold on to your kindness and dreams. The world may be harsh, but it does not define you. Your destiny is your own to shape, and I believe that one day you will rise above all this. Do not give up. Elara nodded, feeling a renewed sense of determination. Her father's words, like a balm to her wounded heart, gave her the strength to face another day. Thank you, father, she said, her voice steadier now. I won't give up, I promise. Ayini hugged her tightly, his embrace filled with the silent promise of his unwavering support. Remember, you are loved, and you are never alone. Elara nodded, wiping her tears again. I will, Papa. I will try to be strong. Ayini smiled, pulling her into a warm embrace. That is my brave girl. Now, let's hang these clothes to dry, and then we can have dinner. Tomorrow is a new day, and with it comes new hope. Together, they hung the washed clothes on the line, while the baobab tree stood tall and protective over them. As the last piece of the clothes was pinned up, Elara felt a small glimmer of hope. Her father's words had given her strength, and she knew she could face whatever challenges lay ahead. They walked back to the cottage, the sky beginning to clear as the sun set. Inside the warmth of their home and the aroma of chioma cooking welcomed them. Elara's heart felt a little lighter, knowing she had the love and support of her family. As they sat down for dinner, Ayene spoke again, his voice gentle but firm. Remember, Elara, no matter what happens, you are never alone. We are here for you, always. Elara smiled, a genuine smile this time, and nodded. Thank you, Papa. I won't forget. The night passed peacefully, and as Elara lay in bed, she thought about the future. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but with her family's support and her own determination, she believed she could overcome any obstacle. Elara's father, Ayene, had a past full of hardship and strength. Growing up in a small village, he faced many challenges, from money problems to losing loved ones. His family was poor, and from a young age, he had to work hard to help them survive. One of the hardest moments in Ayene's life was losing his father when he was still a boy. This loss forced him to become the main provider for his family. Even though he was just a child, Ayene worked long hours in the fields and did odd jobs to support his mother and younger brothers and sisters. This tough time taught him about hard work, responsibility, and the importance of putting others first. Ayene was also deeply connected to his roots. His grandfather, a respected elder in the village, would often share stories about their ancestors. These stories filled Ayini with pride and taught him to value his community, respect the land, and never give up no matter how hard things got. As Ayini grew older, people in the village came to respect him for his wisdom and kindness. He was always ready to help those in need, and many young people looked up to him for advice. His life experiences made him strong but also soft-hearted. These were the same lessons he passed on to Elara, his beloved daughter. When Ayini saw Elara hurting because of how others treated her, he felt her pain deeply. He remembered what it was like to struggle and face cruelty. That is why his advice to Elara always came from his own life, telling her to stay strong, to be kind, and to hold on to hope, even when things were tough. Ayini's life was filled with both sorrow and victory. It shaped him into the man he was, a source of strength and guidance for Elara as she faced her own challenges in life. The village had a special tradition that both excited and scared the young women. It was called the maidens' kiss, a legend that many believed could change lives. Some said the kiss could bring good fortune, love, or even power, while others whispered that it could bring sadness, bad luck, or loss. As the feast of the Maiden's Kiss drew near, the whole village was filled with hope. They were desperate to break the curse that had been hanging over them since the last Maiden's Kiss, which people believed had brought nothing but bad luck. They wanted to be free from the shadow of it left behind. Despite all the struggles in her life, Elara dreamed of a future shaped by love and kindness. She wished that her first kiss would lift her out of poverty and bring her a brighter tomorrow. Amira, on the other hand, didn't care about love or kindness. To her, the tradition was just another chance to show off her power and control the people around her. First, the memory of what happened at the stream stayed fresh in Elara's mind. It reminded her of her low place in the world, but instead of breaking her spirit, it made her more determined. She worked even harder, refusing to let Amira's cruelty crush her. The village was alive with activity as everyone prepared for the sacred feast. Amira, however, had her own plans. She saw Elara as a threat and was determined to ruin her chances. Meanwhile, the village square was filled with color and excitement. Market stalls were piled high with bright fabrics, fresh fruits, and homemade goods. The smell of roasting meat and sweet pastries filled the air, mixing with the earthy scent of the fields and the distant clank of the gold mines. At the heart of this tradition was a mystery, hidden in a prophecy found in the ancient scrolls deep inside the village sacred temple. It was said that once every 100 years, a maiden with a pure heart and an unspoiled spirit would be chosen to receive the maiden's kiss. These keys would bless the village with prosperity and protection for the next century. As the prophecy loomed large over the village, the people wondered who would be the chosen one. However, the prophecy also speaks of a time when darkness will seek to corrupt the chosen one. It says, when the moon turns red and the stars line up like a snake, the chosen maiden will face tricks and lies. Only the one who stays strong and true, despite the shadows that try to hurt her, will perform the maiden's kiss. If the chosen one falls, the village will suffer sad times and trouble until a new maiden of light comes to break the curse. The village elders and priestess kept the secret prophecy, which makes the ritual very important and dangerous. As Amira and Elara find their way, the old prediction threatens their future and the village. As the village counted down to the feast of the maiden's kiss, an old tradition began. The village elders chose a select group of young women, including Elara and Amira, to prepare for the sacred ceremony. Elara's kind heart and Amira's stunning beauty made them stand out. The villagers watched their every move, searching for signs of perfection. Amira's desire to win burned brighter, knowing it would secure her status and help her family. But the elders kept a secret. The chosen maiden must be pure, a surprise to be revealed on the third market day before the feast. Driven by impatience and determination, Amira took matters into her own hands. She sought out the village's most secretive and feared figure, a dark sorcerer rumored to possess forbidden knowledge. Under the veil of a night, Amira ventured into the forest, her heart racing with fear and excitement. The sorcerer's secluded heart loomed before her, shrouded in a scary silence. With his piercing eyes and long, tangled beard, the sorcerer greeted Amira with a low, gravely whisper. "What draws you to my doorstep, young one?" he asked, his tone full of curiosity. Amira's voice remained steady, despite her growing unease. "I must uncover the truth about the maiden's kiss. I want to be chosen." The sorcerer's eyes sparkled with a wicked force. He replied, "The secret is both simple and profound. The chosen maiden must be untainted, a virgin." He added that the ritual demands purity. Amira's heart beat fast as she thought of a sneaky plan. She wanted to ensure she would be chosen, and she saw a chance to beat her rival. "Can you help me win?" she asked softly, looking at the sorceress with pleading eyes. The sorcerer agreed to help Amira. He gave her a small bottle filled with shiny, dark liquid. "Put this special oil on your skin every night. It will protect you and make you very attractive." But he warned, bad magic always had bad consequences. Amira took the bottle and started planning. She would use the oil to win and then get rid of Elara, her biggest competitor. With the sorcerer's help, Amira made a sneaky plan. Before departing, Amira confided in the sorcerer about her concerns regarding Elara. She pleaded for a way to ensure Elara wouldn't be chosen. The sorcerer listened intently, his eyes gleaming with fascination. "Elara is under divine protection," he declared, his tone grave and serious. "The gods protect her from harm. Any malicious intentions directed towards her will backfire upon those who wish her harm." Amira's eyes grew wide with shock. "But surely there must be something we can do," she begged. The sorcerer's expression remained unchanging as he shook his head. "Elara's fate is sealed by a higher authority. The gods have selected her to secure the village's future. You cannot defy the divine decree. However, you can influence the villagers' perceptions. If you make them doubt her worthiness, they will turn against her." Amira left the sorcerer's hut in a state of extreme sadness. Her goals failed. She felt the overwhelming guilt of her actions. The sorcerer's words troubled her, a scary warning of the powerful forces at work. After her disturbing meeting with the sorcerer and receiving the dark potion, Amira walked aimlessly near the forest edge, lost in thought. The weight of her actions and the sorcerer's warnings about the results of the dark magic pressed heavily on her mind. As Amira walked deeper into the forest, the dense leaf cast long shadows over her fair skin. Suddenly, the dark shadows of the seer emerged, his presence looming over her as he spoke in a voice that seemed to echo through the trees. The air became thick with expectations, and the forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the words of the ancient prophecy to unfold. Amira's heart beat fast as she saw the seer, a legendary figure she had only heard about. The seer wore a worn-out robe and had piercing eyes. Their voices sounded strange and mysterious as they spoke. "Child, you are on a dangerous path." Amira asked, "Who are you, and how do you know about the prophecy?" The seer smiled slightly, showing their ancient wisdom. "I am the seer, keeper of secrets and guardian of the prophecy. The village's fate depends on the chosen maiden's purity and balance of good and evil in her heart." Amira was curious and asked, "What do you mean by balance of good and evil?" The seer's eyes showed sadness and wisdom. "The chosen maiden must face her inner darkness and emerge victorious. Only then will she be worthy of the sacred maiden's kiss. Beware, for those who try to harm her will be trapped by their evil intentions." Amira thought deeply about the seer's words. She had already set her plan in motion, but was filled with doubt and fear. "Is there no other way?" she asked in a trembling voice. The seer shook their head. "The prophecy is clear. The chosen one must remain pure in her heart and spirit. Any attempt to harm her will bring great danger." With these mysterious words, the seer disappeared into the night, leaving Amira alone in the forest, her heart heavy with worry and doubt. Meeting the seer made Amira reconsider her plans, but her determinations to secure her advantage of Elara could not stop. The seer's mysterious warnings and greater understanding of the prophecy made Amira's plans more complicated. Learning that the chosen maiden must face her own inner darkness to emerge victorious made Amira doubt her actions and the real reason for her competition with Elara. Amira's impatience and ambition pushed her to do something even worse. She and her friends planned to ruin Elara's reputation. They started spreading lies, saying Elara did bad things in secret. They told people she wasn't kind and didn't deserve the honor of the maiden's kiss at the sacred feast. The rumors spread quickly, with many people believing the lies because of their own jealousy and unkind thoughts. In the quiet, softly illuminated temple, two elders stood near the altar, their voices low and full of worry. The dancing candlelight cast long shadows on the stone walls, making the space feel even more sacred and more secretive. "Do you think it could be her?" one elder asked, his face wrinkled in concern. His hand rested on the ancient scroll laid open before them, the one that held the prophecy. The other elder nodded slowly, his eyes troubled. Elara faced the signs, born under the same stars, the kindness in her heart. It all lines up. "But the prophecy speaks of danger," the first elder whispered, his voice shaky. "The chosen one will face a great threat, something dark and powerful." They both fell silent, the weight of the words hanging heavy in the air. Protecting Elara wasn't just about keeping her safe, it was about preparing her for what was to come. And if she truly was the maiden from the prophecy, then they all had to be ready for the storm that would follow. In the shadows outside, Amira listened, her heart racing. Her hands trembled as she pressed herself against the cold stone wall. Elara, the chosen one? The thought twisted in her gut, filling her with a sickening panic. It can't be Elara, Amira thought desperately, her mind spinning. If the elders believed Elara was the maiden, then they would protect her even more, trust her even more. Everything would slip further out of Amira's control. Her breathing quickened. No, I won't let this happen. I won't let her take everything from me. She backed away from the temple, her thoughts dark and desperate. If Elara was the one from the prophecy, then Amira knew she had to act fast before it becomes too late. She would make sure Elara was completely disqualified. So, Amira and her friends came up with a darker plan. They hired some shady men, promising them money to take Elara away and rob her of her virginity, knowing that would disqualify her from being chosen for the maiden's keys. The men were told to kidnap Elara and take her deep into the forest where no one could hear or see them. 3 nights before the festival, Elara was walking home from the stream, feeling calmed after a long day. Out of nowhere, she was grabbed and dragged into the dark forest. She tried to scream, but the thick trees muffled her voice. Her heart raced with fear as she struggled against the ropes they used to tie her to a tree. The men came close, and it seemed like all hope was lost. To be continued in part 2. Will Elara manage to escape her captors or fall prey to their sinister plans? Can Amira's dark secret remain hidden, or will it be exposed? Will the gods intervene to save Elara, or will she be left to fend for herself? What consequences will Amira face for her actions? Will Elara kidnappers succeed in disqualifying her from the maiden's keys? The fate of Elara hangs in the balance. Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Don't miss the thrilling conclusion. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to catch part 2 as soon as it drops.